Hey everyone, it's Mace1370. We are in the first day of the new RTA season, and the game is already broken. That was pretty fast. Before we get into it though, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, please see the video description below for a link to my Discord. Alrighty, so as you are probably aware, SmileGate has been attempting to address balance changes via frenzy effects in RTA. What this means is SmileGate is able to add certain passive effects to the game that take effect at the beginning of the match in an attempt to alter unit balance. And the two effects that made it live into the season, the first is the RGB, damage change, where weak units do less damage to the stronger units. So fire does less damage to water, water does less damage to grass, etc. The other change is that Soul Weavers get a additional 15 speed added to their kit. This is taken into effect, after you do the build, so speed set doesn't affect that. It's just a 15 speed bonus, when you get into the game. It was 20 speed during preseason, and I guess they decided that was too strong. So with the new patch, apparently somebody figured out that there's a new 2-star unit that is a Soul Weaver and has a base speed of 117 and has a S3 AoE team CR push with an attack buff on the unit with the highest attack. And what that translates to, if you're not super familiar with these numbers, 117 is fast enough that, if you have decent speed gear, you can easily get to 300 speed or so, if you're playing at the higher levels. So if you bring that 300 speed unit into RTA, it's going to get 15 speed on top of that, and then it'll be 315 speed. So you've seen me pick the 2-star, it's I think called Frost Shard, and because it has a CR push, you're going to be able to enable units like Ida and bring them right to the front with an attack buff. So this is essentially another super fast opener unit for cleavers to pick. And most people probably won't know what this unit does, so they may not ban it, they may not assume it's fast, but you will easily be able to outspeed enemy openers with this unit because of that plus 15 speed. It's pretty absurd. So the basic idea for this draft here is I've taken a couple openers with Conquer Lilius and this unit, and then I have Ida to tie it all together. I think I actually kind of mispicked with a Shuri. I think I probably needed to pick like a Pavel or something and then ban the Para and just hope I outspeed the Kisei. But I picked Watcher Shuri Speed Imprint figuring he'd ban it, and he did. He doesn't know what the 2-star does. So we do indeed outspeed with our Frost Shard. The opponent appreciates the irony, and my entire team goes to the front now because of that CR boost. We're able to use Conqueror Lilius, and this is going to boost our Ida again, who I think is already at the front of the CR bar anyways. So now she'll have attack buff and vigor. We can control the Rimuru, but the opponent doesn't even wait around and concedes. We can take a look at another game here. I'm pre-banning FCC for this draft just because I'm going to blow things up with damage, and if the opponent has FCC and I don't have a defense break, then it may be difficult for me to pull this off. While I was doing the draft, I was kind of brainstorming how I wanted to open, and I think I wanted to open with Ran, but the first couple people I ran into pre-banned him, which is pretty rude in my opinion, so have to work around that. But that's okay. I think there's a large number of ways you can combo with this new Frost Shard unit. Because it is so fast and it has that team CR push into an attack buff, you essentially just need to figure out your bridge. So that bridge can be anything else that is slightly slower in CR pushes. So you see I have a Pavel built. I was kind of looking for an angle to take Pavel, and it just didn't really happen. But Pavel with the CDOM could be kind of a link. You could build a team with another AoE opener, like Para and a Summertime Iceria, right? Because she can CR push and bridge the team. Jacko would be another option if you put her Chains of Chiron on your AoE opener, like Para, and she gets a stun, that'll CR push your team. So there's a whole variety of ways that you can kind of have your team take turns and move up to get that effect. Another option would be having a fast, speedy nuker, and then having like a Watcher Shuri type character for a speed imprint with Sachet, and the Sachet then pushes your team when your one-shot or kills something. So here I take Para and Politis. My plan was I wanted to go Ida and the new Frost Shard unit next, but the opponent immediately goes into panic mode and picks Bellion and Green Violet, so I kind of have to pivot out, unfortunately. I take Jacko because I think this could be a good combo with Para, Payra can come in and stun a bunch of things. Jacko's a nice fire DPS who can get some value on Violet sometimes. I could build her on Symbol, actually. I had it on Judge Kisei, but I quickly threw some gear around. So maybe I should have run Symbol on my Jacko. Oh well. Either way, you know, Jacko can get some nice value on Violet because she's fire, you know, and she hits pretty hard. And we have the new RGB change, which means he's going to do less damage to her. I take Hwyong here. My intent is if I last pick the Frost Shard unit, I can CR boost my team if he bans the Payra, because I should go first, and that should boost both my Hwyong and my Jacko over the enemy team, which will allow me to, you know, blow some stuff up. So we'll take the Frost Shard here. He takes Pirate Captain Flan and BBK, which is pretty interesting. I think I just want to ban out the Bellion, even though I kind of drafted around it a bit. I was like taking the Hwyong to one-shot the Bellion. But yeah, I think I want to just ban that out. It's another one of these annoying AoE counter units, and my Politis does have a book, so I would like to get that value. But now we do have to get our Jacko going here. Alright, so I have the Chains of Chiron on Payra, so remember Jacko's passive allows her to CR boost the team by 20% if you land a stun. So it not only gives Abyssal Crown to the backline, but if that person stuns, then it CR boosts your team, which is really nice. This is pretty tragic. Archdemon counters into an S2, into a hit chance reduction on Jacko, so that blind debuff. Pretty bad, because Jacko needs to kill on her S3 to get another turn, you know, and also needs to hit a stunned unit, I guess, to go into stealth. So we can boost here with our Frost Shard. He's kind of redundant in this setup, since, you know, we got the Payra through, but you kind of need to have two openers a lot of times, you know, because otherwise they just ban one. So I think, I don't know how tanky this BBK is, but she's probably the squishiest, so I just go on the BBK, assuming that I can maybe kill through a miss, but we get the hit, massively overkill. I don't know if we would have killed on a miss or not, but the blind debuff is gone, so now we can Soul Burn, and I stunned the Amaro. I don't know if this was correct or not. I didn't want to get countered again. You know, my team doesn't have immunity, so I maybe should have just stunned the Pirate Captain Flan and just tunneled into her and ignored the Archdemon. A tough choice. I was kind of assuming I would lap around, to be honest. But I guess that doesn't happen here, because now Pirate Captain Flan gets the turn. She has the blind debuff on herself, though. Another thing here you'll notice is that Violet is stunned from that Chains of Chiron from the beginning, so you can, you know, get that stun even if you miss the character, right, if your opener's a blue unit, which is really nice. So apparently this is like some bizarro, like, Bruiser Flan who's on counter set or something, and Proof of Valor. Kind of strange. So we can stun the Archdemon, and then I can hit into that Archdemon with my Jacko. I'm just going to hit the Violet here. I didn't want to proc a counter, and I didn't want to kill the Archdemon because I want to go into... Or I guess I'm going into Flan. I mean, I guess I probably should have just gone into Archdemon with Politis there. That was silly. Okay, but we kill Flan, and we're at like 75-ish percentage health or so, maybe 70 on Jacko, so we're just hoping these bombs and burns don't kill us. And if we do, we might have a chance. This was kind of a sloppy draft. Violet goes into the blue unit. I think that was a mistake. I guess Politis is dead anyways. I was going to say, usually when you have Violet, just like leave the blue units alive, because they just feed you, you know, CR and stuff. Here we'll just skill 3 to put back up Escort, because we really need our Jacko to live. His S1 on this Frost Shard character, I guess, I think it silences or has a chance to. It's pretty irrelevant. But we don't get countered, so that's nice. Here, I think we just stun Archdemon again. Because this will allow us to S1 with Jacko, I think is the play. because that'll put us back into stealth so that Violet will not kill us. And this will give us an extra attack on Violet, which is really clutch. So we hit him here, that's nice. Don't quite kill though. I did nerf my Jacko, I had to move gear around, so she doesn't hit quite as hard as she did in the showcase video. I wonder if the showcase one would have killed. Good chance, although this Violet is abnormal, 18k? Give me a break. Alright, so we pretty much have to kill Violet here. I could have S2'd for the souls, I suppose, but doesn't. I guess that might have been a bad idea because it would have given me an extra turn. We don't need to push him twice. Yeah, so S1 was the play. We go in with the S3 and get the kill because we deserve it. So we have another game here. We are going to pre-ban FCC again. I would like to make kind of the general point that these frenzy changes, and this is something I warned about earlier, by the way, I don't think are a good way to address game balance. You're making large changes that affect multiple characters, right? So that's going to have many unintended consequences, kind of like the stupid Frost Shard unit. You know, if you have a unit, for example, that's broken, and let's say it's more powerful than many of the other units, it is much better to address that single unit than it would be to make a change that affects that unit plus like 20 other units. And that's what these frenzy changes do. You know, this RGB change where, you know, a fire unit takes reduced damage from grass units is clearly an attempt to kind of nerf Hwyong and Rimuru. However, it does have other effects on other units as well, which may or may not be good. This speed change, for example, is made to make units like Amelia and Maid Chloe and, you know, many of the other Soul Weavers more relevant. But whoopsie, they released a Soul Weaver literally on the first day of RTA that has a high base speed and a CR push and is literally acting like one of these cleave openers. And it's a Soul Weaver. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. So, totally crazy. And I really hope they just address units individually. I feel like it's a lot more practical to do that than it is to make these large sweeping changes. So hopefully maybe they go that direction in the future. Here we have a Para ban, so we get to take our Ran finally, hooray. We can take Jacko because she's fun, combo her with Ran, and then we'll take Ida and Green Sid. The opponent looks like they are speed contesting. They have taken Acid and Conquer Lilius. So we can take, we have our Green Sid for an imprint, and then we take our second opener with Frost Shard. So we're pretty fast. We have 3 units above 310 speed or so, I think. So he takes a speed imprint of his own. I think we have to ban that. And this will give us 2 speed guys against his Assassin Sid and Conquer Lilius. So he bans our unit we're trying to showcase here. So unfortunate. But we have a speed imprint in Ran, so there's like very unlikely that we lose this speed race. And we get the first turn, so we can skill 2 pretty safely here. This will put up immunity buff, which will prevent Politis from being able to stun us. So no stun. That is a lot of damage though. Now we can skill 3, and I'm hoping for stuns here off Chains of Chiron, which would CR boost my team, but I don't get any stuns, which is bad. So this means that Politis will get to have her turn here. I think it would have boosted Ida up above. Luckily, Politis misses and doesn't kill Jacko, so we're in business. We can Soul Burn Ida, and that should be game. Alright, let's take a quick look here at this Frost Shard unit. If you're curious on where he comes from, you can get him via Friendship Summons and also via the Secret Shop. He is a Ice Soul Weaver. So here it is, Frost Shard, 295 speed, kind of crazy. His base is 117, like I said, so this gets plus 15 speed going in RTA, which means that he'll be rocking out at 310. Which is pretty good. You could put even faster gear on him. I kind of just threw a spare set I had, so you could, you know, if you really wanted to be absurd with this character, you could. You know, if I just said I'm just not going to draft like Conquer Lilius, or if I'm not going to draft Para, or, you know, something like that, you know, you could get this unit even faster, and that would be silly. So here he'd be 317, right, going in, and this still gives, you know, me with enough speed gear to have a 311 Ran, you know, a 311 Para, plus, you know, a 317 this thing. So how are people supposed to, you know, really compete when you have like triple speed openers and they're all at like 310 and they enable cleave? Like, it just doesn't seem like that puts the game in a good place. Because in order to compete with that, they have to go fast, because these units are so crippling when they go, and it basically just obliterates mid-range strategies. And as I said, these blanket frenzy changes enable random silly stuff like this. So go pull yourself a Frost Shard and abuse him for the next couple days before he is hopefully fixed. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Later.